everybody? Can you guys feel the spirit in the sky? I mean, you can feel it everywhere across this great Commonwealth. There's something special going on, and you can feel it everywhere. God, how cool is this place? Wow. All right, folks, here we are. It is Sunday. Well, here we go. We got one. God bless you all. Happy Sunday. How about that? Here we go. Hey, folks, we got basically a 9-day sprint. A 9-day sprint to close this out. And right now, we got Terry McAuliffe on the run. Well, I got to tell you, what has been so much fun is to travel around this great Commonwealth, to go from Lee County to Loudoun County, to go from Chesterfield to Colonial Heights, to go from Chesapeake all the way back up to Fairfax, down to Emporia, to Old Town Alexandria. You know what I see everywhere? Red signs everywhere we go. Red signs everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I had this great text yesterday from some friends who were driving from Lynchburg back home into Arlington, and they sent me a text, and it said, "Glenn, I just wanted to give you the count. Youngkin, 47 times. Set 47 signs. McAuliffe, 6. Come on, that's great fun. That is great fun. Well, folks, here we are today, right now, 9 days out. 9 days out from making a statement that is absolutely going to send a shockwave across America, a statement that is going to stand up not just for folks in Virginia, but for folks around this nation, a statement to say, no, not here, no more progressive, no more left liberal policies, no more. I mean, over the course of the last 8 years, led by Terry McAuliffe, we've actually watched this left liberal progressive agenda try to turn Virginia into California East, and Virginians are saying, no, not here, we're not going to have it. I mean, what's amazing? But I tell you, folks, America needs us. They do. I mean, right now, there's only 2 statewide races, 2, here in New Jersey. And all eyes are on Virginia. Why are all eyes on Virginia? Because as goes Virginia, so goes America. We know that. And this is what's happening. I mean, I have parents all over the nation sending me texts and emails and calling me saying, Glenn, stand up for our kids too, please. Stand up for our kids too, because we know. We've seen it in his heart. Terry McAuliffe believes there's no role for parents in their children's education. That's what we've seen. And by the way, when parents stood up over the course of the last 3 weeks and said, you're wrong, Terry McAuliffe, what does he do? He calls his friend Joe Biden and has Joe Biden send the FBI in to try to silence parents. So let me be clear. Jason Miyares is our next Attorney General. Winsome Sears is our next Lieutenant Governor. And when I have the great privilege of being your next governor, the 3 of us are going to stand up, and we are not going to allow the FBI to come in here and push parents around. We're not going to let it happen. Tell you what we are going to do is we are going to allow the FBI to come in and investigate school boards that do not keep our kids safe. I mean, friends, last week we had a small gathering in Fairfax County, small one. I thought it was going to be about like this. By the way, this is huge. But there was another 650 people out in the parking lot when we got together in Fairfax County. And what's happened, of course, is we've watched Loudoun County be the epicenter. Come on, be ground zero of parents just like all of you standing up for your children, standing up and saying, get our schools open, standing up saying, teach our children how to think, stop teaching them what to think, standing up for your kids saying, we deserve to know what's in the curriculum, and if we don't like it, we should be able to get rid of it. Parents standing up saying, we absolutely have a right, a fundamental right in the Commonwealth of Virginia to be fully engaged in our kids' education. And guess what? I agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, we have this moment right now. This moment where we, in fact, can come together. We have this defining moment in our Commonwealth's future. A moment to, in fact, fundamentally change the trajectory of our great Commonwealth of Virginia and everybody who lives here. Where in fact, we can liberate our families and our children and pursue a better life and actually allow everyone to pursue with everything they have a better life, prosperity, and not have it blocked or impeded by elected politicians, and all they want to do is further their own instance as opposed to yours. This is where we stand. We stand for a moment where all of a sudden the idea of fighting against a culture that suggests that we should accept mediocrity, that we should embrace low standards, that we should shelve our hope. We get to stand up as Virginians and say, no. We get to stand up for our children, for our grandchildren, for our nieces, for our nephews. We get to stand up and say there is a better day in front of all of us, but in order for us to do that, we have to get moving right now. And what we have to do is make that moment right now together. It's not about me. It's not about Jason. It's not about these great folks who are going to serve you as your next delegates when we have a majority in the House of Delegates. It's about all of you. That's what it's about. It's about a Virginia that soars, a Virginia that doesn't ever settle. It's about a Virginia where we all get to realize and achieve our hopes and our dreams. It's about a Virginia where we, in fact, get to live the Virginia promise. A promise that we're going to have the best schools, the safest neighborhoods, we're going to have the best jobs, we're going to have a low cost of living, and oh, by the way, a promise where our children can dream the most radical dreams they ever have dreamed to become whatever they want to become, and they get to go get it. That's the Virginia we'll build together. Now, friends, I get asked all the time. Well, I also get asked all the time, how you sleeping, Glenn? And I'll tell you, I'm sleeping like a baby. I wake up every 20 minutes screaming. Why? Why? Because we collectively know that we must win this. We collectively know that Virginia's future hangs in the balance. We collectively know that the future that we can build together is so different than the one that Terry McAuliffe wants government to impose upon us. We know that we will break some glass. By the way, speaking of breaking glass, you know, the establishment is not ready for me. They just aren't. I mean, I'm an outsider. I get to walk into Richmond, hopefully, with all of your support, and we get to change things. I don't know if you saw it, but Dominion Power doesn't want me to show up. You know why? Because they absolutely overcharged Virginians, $1 billion plus, And what did they do? They turn around and they put $200,000 in a shady PAC. A shady PAC that they then put to work to campaign against me. And then when they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, what did they do? They immediately apologized. Oh, we're sorry. How many of you have had a kid, it happens to little kids when they do something wrong and everybody catches them and the first thing they do is say, ooh, sorry, not me. I mean, folks, we're going to get in and make change. That's why we're going. That's why we got everybody's attention. That's why Virginians all of a sudden are standing up all over and saying no to Terry McAuliffe and yes to Glenn Youngkin. It is so much fun. Now, I'll tell you, I also get asked a lot, what are you going to do on that first day, Glenn? What's it going to be like? And so let me just tell you what it's going to be like. On January 15th, Jason and Winsome and I we're going to have the most unbelievable sense of privilege, of honor, to go work for all of you. A moment where we feel that we have to stop and just recognize that the job that I am seeking is a job that was held by Patrick Henry, by Thomas Jefferson. And here I am, a kid that was washing dishes and taking out trash when I was 15 years old. But I dream big dreams. And here I am. I have a moment to step into that portico, Mr. Jefferson's portico in Richmond. And I put my hand on a Holy Bible. And I will swear to God Almighty to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And then Jason and Winsome and I walk down those stairs. We'll be joined by Paige and by Terrence, not Terry, but Terrence. And Suzanne will join me, and we'll join everybody who wants to join us. And we're going to stop for a moment of our own prayer. A moment where we get to thank the Lord for his provision, for his protection, for his guidance, for his support, for putting people around us who are amazing like all of you. And then we'll pray for his strength and discernment to understand his will and the path that we should walk and the words we should use. And then we'll say amen. And then we're going to work because it's day one. There's no time to get to waste because we got a lot of work to do. On day one, we will cut the cost of living in Virginia because it's too expensive to live here, and we're going to cut everybody's taxes. Everybody. We're going to declare the largest tax refund in the history of Virginia. We're going to eliminate the grocery tax. We're going to suspend the latest gas tax increase for a year. We're going to double everybody's standard deduction. And folks, we are going to work for our veterans, and we're going to build up to $40,000 of our veterans' income that we will no longer tax. Let me make one comment about our veterans, because I want to thank all of you that have served our country, that have volunteered to protect our freedom, and have chosen to live here in Virginia. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lifters. Friends, on day one, we're going to go to work and reestablish expectations of excellence in our schools. You know, when Terry McAuliffe was governor, 88 schools failed to reach their accreditation. 88. He didn't like that. And rather than do the hard work and fix them, he just lowered the standards so not one would fail. Today, Virginia ranks 50th in the nation, 50th, when it comes to the standards for our kids to progress in reading and math. And it's true. And guess what? The test scores show it. The test scores that most recently came back this past spring, they showed that our children are suffering as a result. By the way, George Bush called it the soft bigotry of low expectations. We're not going to be a commonwealth of low expectations. We're going to be a commonwealth of high expectations. I mean, folks, 55% of white children in Virginia cannot pass an 8th grade math equivalency test. 70% of Latino children, over 80% of black children cannot pass an 8th grade math equivalency test. The gap is absolutely unacceptable. The order of magnitude of these numbers is shocking. It is shocking. So on day one, first, we will mandate that Virginia schools will never again be closed. They will be open for 5 days a week, in-person education. We will raise expectations in our schools, and then we'll fund in the largest education budget in the history of Virginia. We'll raise teacher salaries, we'll fund into facilities, and we will fund into special education because our kids with disabilities have suffered mightily during this pandemic. We are going to launch the most aggressive charter school program in the history of Virginia. This is about providing parents choice within our public school system. Virginia has 8 charter schools in the entire Commonwealth. 8. Maryland has 140. North Carolina has 190. We have 8. On day one, we'll launch 20 innovation charter schools. It is a down payment. I will close that gap so fast, it'll make your head spin. But friends, we know it all starts with curriculum. We know it does. We know it does. We have to have high expectations for our children. Yes, we have to help those that need help. But we will teach accelerated math. We will award advanced diplomas. We will teach all history, all of it, the good and the bad. We live in the most amazing planet, amazing country on the planet. And we're going to teach all our history. We have just the most inspiring chapters in our history. We have abhorrent chapters too. We must teach it all, but we will not teach our children to view everything through a lens of race. We won't. We're going to get politics out of the classroom. We are. Friends, I mean, it flies directly in the face of those immortal words from Dr. Martin Luther King, who implored us to judge one another based on the content of our character, not the color of our skin. So, friends, so on day one, we will get critical race theory out of our schools. On day one, we're going to stand up for law enforcement because they stand up for us. Virginia today is at a 20-year high in murder rate. It's just shocking. Every weekend we pick up the newspaper. 4 of our great cities rank in the top 65 deadliest cities in America. Richmond at number 11, Norfolk, Hampton, and Newport News. Friends, Terry McAuliffe doesn't care. He wouldn't even show up to meet with the Police Benevolent Association. He literally stood him up. That's why 50 sheriffs have endorsed us. 50. More active sheriffs switched parties to the Republican Party than have endorsed Terry McAuliffe. Bottom line. Bottom line. Friends, they trust us. They trust Jason. They trust Winsome. They trust us to get the job done. So on day one, we will comprehensively fund law enforcement, higher salaries, better equipment, funded training. We'll protect qualified immunity. We're going to fund into our mental health system. We're in a state of crisis in our mental health system. We're going to fund into mental health. And friends, on day one, yes, I will fire the entire parole board and we're going to start all over again. On day one, we're going to get the Virginia economy moving. We're going to reinvigorate it. It's been stalled out for 8 years. When Terry McAuliffe was governor, the states around us grew 120% faster than Virginia. I mean, in my world, if your competitors grew 120% faster than you, you fired management. I think Terry McAuliffe deserves to be fired. Over the last 8 years, North Carolina created 8 times the number of jobs that Virginia did. Tennessee 6 times. They're kicking our butt. We got to get moving. So on day one, first and foremost, I will declare Virginia open for business. No lockdowns, no shutdowns. We're open for business. We are going to protect our right to work. This is not an anti-union comment. It's a pro-worker comment. Terry McAuliffe pledged to get rid of our right to work. He said, when the bill comes to my desk, I'll sign it. Guess what? If he wins, it's coming to his desk. Friends, the Virginia Economic Development Partnership said that if we lose right to work, it'll cost Virginia over $11 billion in investment and nearly 40,000 jobs. We can't afford it. It'll ruin us. I'm going to protect our right to work, but we have to get our economy moving. So on day one, I'm going to cut 25% of job-killing regulations. We're going to provide a 12-month tax holiday for small business. We're going to crank up our training. We're going to crank up our workforce training so that we, in fact, have a great workforce for our great employers. And friends, we are going to put all over Virginia accelerators and incubators, and we're going to form capital. I know a lot about this, so that we can have an innovation economy. We are dead, well, not quite dead last. We're ranked 49th in the nation in best place to start a business. 49th. The only place worse is Connecticut. I've been to Connecticut. We do not want to be Connecticut. Over 4 years, we together. A governor doesn't create jobs. Businesses do. My job's going to be to work with all of you, and we will together. We will generate 400,000 new jobs and foster 10,000 startups. We will get Virginia's economy cranked up for all Virginians. And finally, on day one, and it's going to be a busy first day, but on day one, we're going to make government work for us and stop telling us what to do all the time. It starts with protecting our constitutional rights. They've been trampled on. We're going to protect our First Amendment right. We're going to protect our Second Amendment right. We're going to protect our 10th Amendment right. Jason and Winsome and I can't wait to lock arms with Republican-led states who have pushed back against government overreach from Washington and stand up for Virginians. We are going to stand up for our constitutional rights. But I have one major pet peeve. I cannot stand fraud. I cannot stand waste. I cannot stand inefficiency. And here I am going into government. So on day one, we're going to launch a statewide audit of all government departments for fraud, for waste, for transparency. On day one. And let me tell you that the two places we're starting first are the Virginia Employment Commission and the DMV. We're going to work right out of the box. And let me tell you how you're going to know we're making progress. Here's how you're going to test us. You're going to call the DMV, and first, someone's going to answer the phone. And second of all, they're going to answer the phone and they're going to say, "Hi, how may I help you?" I can't wait till day 2. Friends, here we are. We're right now at this junction in Virginia's future, this junction where we, in fact, get to decide, are we going this way or that way? We get to decide. They don't get to tell us. We decide. It's because it's a democracy, and it's an active democracy, and I need all of you in the arena with us, not on the sidelines, but in the arena. I need you. We cannot do this by ourselves. We cannot do it by ourselves. Friends, the spirit of Virginia is in the air. The spirit of Washington, of Jefferson, of Madison, Monroe, friends, the spirit that in fact defines Virginia. You know, our nation's history is Virginia's history. And our nation's future will be rested in Virginia's present. The next 9 days are not only going to fundamentally change the future of our Commonwealth, but they're going to change the future of our country. So I need you. Winsome needs you. Jason needs you. Our delegates need you. By the way, supervisory board, city council, school board races, sheriff races, we all need you. And by the way, we're going to win them all. We need you. And so here's what I need to ask you to do. 5 things. 5 things. 1, go vote. Go vote. By the way, go vote. Bring 10 friends. Folks, sign up to bring 10 friends to vote. 2, be our ambassadors. Go beyond 10 friends. I've been trying to meet 8.5 million Virginians. I haven't quite made it all yet. But you have a big network. Lean in on your network. Get them out. 3, get a red sign, put it in your yard. Red signs matter. By the way, I'm just telling you, you drive up and down Old Town Alexandria, I didn't even think there was a single Republican there. There are red signs all over the place. All over the place. 4th, we need volunteers. Folks, today I think we're about 300 polling stations or precincts are open voting. We're going to build up to 2,540 on November the 2nd. We need volunteers. Is Tom Amon here? Tom, where are you? Where are the volunteers? Okay, here we go. Folks, you need to sign up and volunteer.
Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check.
Friends, here we are. For a long time, I'll just tell you, last summer when I quit my job and I started working on how to run for governor, I had more people tell me that a Republican cannot win statewide in Virginia. And you know what I told them? They're crazy. We're going to win.
Hey, it's Mark Meredith at Newport News.
We're going to win. We're going to sweep the statewide races. We're going to take back our House of Delegates. And we are going to have a red wave roll across this entire Commonwealth. So let me be clear what I'm asking for. Let me be clear. I want you to hire me.
Hey, it's Mark. They kicked me out. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I'll be so humbled to go work for all of you as the 74th governor of this great Commonwealth of Virginia. God bless you all.
Hey, Paul, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me okay?